So I want to thank you folks for taking the time out of your busy days to spend some time with VidOvation. Some of you may know me. I'm Jim Giacchetta. I've been in the industry some 30, 35 years. Love what we do, love solving problems, love helping people build television systems, wireless systems, fiber optic systems. So we're here to help. This is part 2 in our series on VidOvation TV. We're going to focus more on distributing video and live television on the enterprise or broadcast network. This can apply to any industry. In the coming weeks, we'll have presentations that focus more on hospitality, focus on military, DoD, government-type applications. There will be a bit of redundancy. You know, the main nuts and bolts of our IPTV solutions are the same across different markets, but you're welcome to log into the more industry-specific presentations. We're also going to be doing, when we're done with this series, we're going to do I'm going to be updating my manual on my user's guide on fiber optics. We've gotten a lot of positive response from that over the years, but it's due for an update, so stay tuned for that. We'll also be rolling out a white paper and accompanying webinar for wireless video. Wireless is another one of our areas of expertise. So let me just dive right in, guys. So a little bit, you know, again, people that don't know me, our team, collectively, we have more than 50 years experience. We're a video and data communications company. We help our clients move video and data from point A to point B, and you know, hence our slogan, moving video forward. We help you move video. But we also do data too, and you can't forget the audio. If you're an audio engineer, you'll say the audio is more important than the video, so we can't forget that. So video, audio, and data. And then the means of transport, you know, it could be over a public network, public internet, private enterprise network, fiber optic, coax, satellite, just about any type of network we can help you to move or transport or distribute your signals. Throughout my career, I've always thought of myself and the teams that I've put together as problem solvers. You know, I'm sure many of you guys are engineers out there, and you know, what do we do on a day in and day out basis? We're solving problems for our clients, solving problems for our boss, solving problems for our company. You know, and a lot of times the problem is saving money, saving revenue. Is there a less expensive way to transport video? So we think of ourselves as problem solvers. And a few years ago, I was approached by the National Hockey League to make these in-net wireless goal cameras. Nothing existed. The NHL saw some of our 60 gig technology, our wireless technology, and we integrated it in a fully customized camera system. So any of you guys know me, you know, one of my favorite subjects is wireless, but also hockey. And I would love to become a fan of your business. You know, I would love to learn more about what you guys are doing out there, some of the struggles you're going through with, from an operations standpoint, from an engineering standpoint, a workflow standpoint. You know, we thrive on doing the impossible or the never been done before. So we'd love to help you guys. So let's dive in. So in my travels, whether it's a sports league, a TV station, a corporation, the concept of moving or distributing video inside a corporate organization is not a new concept. The old school approach was to use clunky, heavy coaxial cabling with RF amplifiers. The wiring tends to be ugly. It serves its purpose. It's worked. A lot of clients will say, well, I like some of your IPTV features, but you know, why should I change? Why should I fix something if it's not broken? You know, the problems, the limitations with a traditional system is it's not scalable. And one of the key benefits, critical benefits to going with an IPTV system or distributing on your network is being able to watch video on the desktop. And that may or may not be important to your organization, but the installs that we have done, news agencies, financial networks, watching a live TV or pre-recorded TV or video on demand is important to do on the desktop. Now, not everyone may want ESPN live on the desktop because that may kill productivity. The goal is not to let your employees watch television. Live TV is an aspect of it, but not the only aspect. These could be human resource videos. They could be training videos, educational videos. If you're an advertising agency, it could be work in progress. We're working with some of the major studios here in Hollywood, and they want dailies distributed on the network. They want all the executives to be able to watch what's going on live on any given studio on the lot, set up security so that the appropriate people can see that intellectual property. So in our modern age, video and media has become more and more the intellectual property. If you're an HBO, obviously television is your intellectual property. If you're the National Hockey League, the recording of those hockey games is your intellectual property. So the sky's the limit. If video, live TV, externally created content, internally created content is important to distribute on your network, coaxial is not going to be the way to go. The old school approach, it's not going to work. We can stream to iPads and smartphones, Android devices, Apple devices, so execs can watch from anywhere. So again, this may not be for everyone, but if you want to be cutting edge, you want to be scalable, expandable. The other benefit too is that it's hard to expand a coaxial system from building to building, campus to campus. A lot of corporations today have a high-speed network in between locations across the country, across the world. We can expand the television distribution across the entire organization, so you don't have to have a direct TV or a cable connection at every building with $1,000 bill associated with it. You can have one master head end where all your live TV is ingested, and then you distribute it to all the people in your organization. So let me keep going. So, well, the other cool thing is here that this photo here is real nice. You can see what's nice about the IPTV systems that we provide. It's familiar. It works very similar to your satellite box or your cable box. Not every cable box is reliable, though. We standardize on an open architecture. We like the Amino set-top box. It's got a long end of life. Amino's not obsoleting this anytime soon. There are cheaper boxes out there, but you get what you pay for. That box may not be available next week, and then you're going to throw your whole system out. So we've standardized on Amino. It's an open source device. We customize the programming in it. So we want you to use as much of our hardware as possible. We're here to sell hardware, but if you already have encoders, other IP type video, as long as it's is compatible with the Amino, you can mix and match. So let me move ahead here. So again, on that note of mixing and matching, MPEG 1, 2, 4, H.264, those are the flavors of video that our IPTV system can handle. So you might be getting a feed externally that's MPEG 2, and you have your own internal live content that might be H.264. You can mix and match. The system will support both. You don't need to transcode. If other formats are coming into the building, we have devices to transcode them to most likely we would transcode them to H.264. VidOvation has a full line of inexpensive SD and HD encoders. We have encoders that have extremely low latency. For traditional IPTV, latency is usually not that critical, so that you can save a lot of money by using a more generic encoder. So we can provide all that, everything that would go in your IPTV or VidOvation TV head end. So like I said, we can use your existing IPTV or IP feeds. We're doing a lot of work with broadcasters, so obviously they have a lot of their own internal content is probably available in IP format. So then the other aspect is video on demand. So people think of, traditionally, pay-per-view, HBO on demand, but in the corporate environment, we're not trying to set people up to watch a movie at their desktop. The video on demand in the corporate sense would be, like I discussed, the HR videos, the training videos, pre-recorded dailies of a show that's shooting on your lot. We have clients that want to pipe in video from remote locations. So they're doing a shoot in, somewhere in Europe. We help our clients stream the video back to Hollywood, back to the head end, and put those videos live or near live onto the network, so the execs know what's going on every shoot, on every project that they're working on, regardless of where it is. Another aspect to it is, I talked about your video library, as it were. The system operates like an asset management system. So it would be dangerous to tell the system to go out and find every piece of video on the network. It'll help you identify video, help you look for video, but there's a semi-automatic process of bringing the videos in. Hopefully the videos are titled correctly. Hopefully there's some metadata as to what the video is, and that gets imported into the system. The administrator of the system can organize the videos, put them into categories to help the manage the assets, manage the video. And again, here's some of the protocols we support: RTSP, RTP, and UDP. Another big thing too when it comes to live TV is, where do we get the electronic program guide from? So we set you up with a subscription for your local time zone, what's on a given channel at a given time. Again, if you're a financial network, you want to know when your important show is going to come on. If you're a sports network, you might want to keep up on your hockey coverage or when Sports Center is going to run. It depends on your business, and different aspects of live TV are important to different businesses. We do a lot of work with universities, so again, they're looking at more of the educational, History Channel, educational type channels that they want to record or play out live. We give the ability to record locally to the desktop. We can provide aminos that have some storage or hard drive capability to store locally. Most clients prefer to have a storage area device in the telco room or in the IT realm, where it's a shared device and everything is recorded on that. The benefit of recording locally or at the head end is that if multiple users record the same show, so for example, say everyone in the org records the Super Bowl. Well, you don't want 1,000 copies of individual recordings of the Super Bowl. It makes one recording, and then everyone's DVR points to that recording. So it's one block of memory used instead of thousands of blocks of memory, or repetitive recording. So there's some intelligence to that. And as I mentioned, the big thing is we can stream to TVs, to displays. We can stream to smart TVs. If the TV is, an LG or a Samsung or a smart TV, and our app has been written for that platform, we have an IPTV app where you don't need a set-top box. You can watch TV through the app. Again, we prefer putting in an amino. What happens if that TV gets obsoleted and the app is no longer available? I guess then at that point you could put in an amino and add that to the network. But we have different types of aminos. You have some that are more decorative if they're going to be visible. Usually they're hidden behind the monitor or adjacent to the monitor in the ceiling, or they can even be hidden away completely and just have an infrared repeater for the remote to work. The interface is fully customizable. So you see here, we can put your branding, your corporate branding on the set-top box. So If you're a sports league or a corporation, we can have your corporate logo, your corporate colors, and we can work with the clients. A lot of clients, their web guys, their media guys can customize the amino skins themselves, or we can help with that, however involved you want to be in that process. We can bring internet to the TV. I mean, if you're watching video on the desktop, that's really not too much of a feature, but if you're in a conference room, or I'm thinking more for hospitality, a hotel room or a hospital bed, we give the ability to surf the web through the portal if that's what the user wants to do and they don't have access to a computer. Common question. So I'm sure some of you guys out there are in the IT department, and you get nervous. Why would I want to allow dozens of channels of video on my network? How am I going to manage this? How am I going to guarantee security? We would work with the IT people and make sure that the network has the capacity to handle the expected payload. One critical thing, though, is that the network needs to be multicast enabled, and we need to be able to support multicast streams. I mean, that's the best way to go. And in layman's terms, what that does is it allows multiple viewers to watch the same stream. So, for example, if we had 10 channels of video and we were in unicast and we had 1,000 viewers of a given channel, we'd have to have 1,000 streams. So it scales out of control. So you got 100 channels times thousands of users. You have to multiply the number of users by the number of channels. I mean, granted, not everyone's going to watch TV at the same time, but you can eat up bandwidth very quickly. So multicast or IGMP, multicast snooping, needs to be turned on the network, and unless your switches and network is 20 years old or something like that, we have not found a network yet that does not have multicast capabilities. It's usually shut off by default, whatever brand of routers you're using, whether it's Cisco. VidOvation has less expensive brands of switches and routers, wireless devices that we can help build out your network if your network needs some upgrades. But so back to multicast. So the beauty of multicast is, you have 100 channels of video, let's say. They just sit in the backbone, and they only come down a segment on the network to a given device or desktop when a request is made. So I'm doing a webcast right now, so it probably wouldn't be a good idea for me to be simultaneously watching live video. So we have multicast videos running on our network right now. I'm not making a request, so my Ethernet, Gig-E Ethernet connection on my computer is not being jammed up with that network traffic that I'm not even looking at. So that's the beauty of multicast. So it just sits in the backbone, doesn't crowd out the lower bandwidth segments of your network unless a request is made. And again, there's some exceptions to these rules. Now, video on demand is usually, or 99% of the time, is going to be a unicast request. So if you expect to be doing a lot of video on demand usage of pre-recorded video, that sort of thing, you may need more bandwidth. Surprisingly, though, statistically, percentages of video on demand usage are very, very low. Or if there are popular videos, let's say, that people watch a lot, what you can do is designate a channel and just play that video in a loop, or a group of videos in a loop, put it on a multicast channel, so then you're not clogging up the network with all these unicast sessions to watch those handful of videos. So there's ways around this not to crash your network. We will help you make these decisions. We would never deploy our system and put your data network in jeopardy. Well, your IT guys wouldn't let us, so, but we would never do that, and we would work with your IT guys to plan the system properly. Security. So these systems tie into the Active Directory of your network. So the IT guys love that. What that means is that the different security levels of people that have access, different levels of access on the network, you can tie that to access to channels on the network. So, for example, using the film studios analogy, maybe only the C-level execs can see the dailies. You wouldn't want one of your cartoonists or graphical designers, a lower-level person, seeing what's going on the dailies on a closed lot. We can guarantee that no unauthorized person would see those videos, and it would all tie into Active Directory credentials. So obviously the CEO may have access to everything, and VPs a little bit less, and all the way on down the food chain or down the hierarchy of the company. So we can manage all that. What channels each level in the hierarchy on your network do they have access to? And that could be live channels, it could be pre-recorded channels. And we set up a digital rights management system. So the studios themselves, for live TV coming in, they don't want their videos being pirated. They want to make sure everyone is an authorized viewer of it. If these videos are being recorded, they're encrypted. There's cipher keys that's sent to each Amino set-top box or each user. So everything, security is guaranteed. The studios demand that, so your own content will have the same level of security that all the studios receive in this type of distribution system. So, archiving, I had a meeting last week with a major network, and, they want to record their content from multiple outlets. So they want to take in a DirecTV feed, a Cox Cable feed, a Time Warner feed, want to record their shows, and they want to make sure they're not cutting into it early with a commercial, they're not cropping the show, they're not time compressing the show. So there's a quality control element to the broadcast or the distribution of video. So they can keep an eye on how their intellectual property is being distributed. They can pull it back into the plant, and one of their quality control people can look at their programming and seeing if it's being altered or tampered with, or that the video quality looks appropriate. So, and then again, cost of ownership. What's this all going to cost? We don't give away these systems for free, but if you look at the cost of ownership over 5, 10, 20 years, the ability to watch video on the desktop, productivity will go way up. The CEO of the studio doesn't have to be present on every shoot to see what's going on. Him or her can be in a remote location, look on their iPad or on their Android device, and see what's happening back at the factory, back at the studio, back at the corporation. A lot of CEOs want to give a live speech. So we could have a camera set up in the conference room. We can tie this into the teleconferencing system. Another common application is people love to, we got displays all over the org. We want to put some signage up, company news. The signage system could be as simple as a news feed from the corporate website, just a page that's updated periodically. The set-top boxes, the desktop players could be set at midnight to go to the corporate greeting page or the corporate news page. So first thing in the morning, all the TVs are on the same channel. There could be more elaborate digital signage players with video crawls and different effects. So we have some signage systems that we can bundle into the IPTV system. So that's not uncommon. In hospitality, hotels, in hospitals, there's always, they call it the Barker channel, come eat in the restaurant, watch this video, don't forget to visit the pool. So whatever news is important to your business, you might want some splash screen to come up and say, catch hockey highlights on the NHL network, that kind of thing. So the sky's the limit. You guys will invent the content for these types of systems. You'll invent new applications for this. But so you can see here, so I mentioned education, dorms, college campuses, learning, healthcare. common thing in healthcare is patient leaves the hospital, they forget all the instructions the doctor gave them, how to care for themselves post-op. We can give them connectivity 30 days after they leave the hospital to watch educational videos, healthcare videos, that sort of thing. And the same thing with the corporation. HR loves these types of systems. Say there's some new HR initiative, some sexual harassment video that everyone needs to watch for compliance reasons. Okay, great. How does HR make sure that everyone's watched the video? You bring them into a conference room in groups, and you consume a lot of time and organize that. You can have them watch the training or HR video on their desktop, and then IT can give HR a report. Here's the people that watched it. Here's the people that watched 1 minute of it. Here's the people that completed it. Here's people that didn't log in. And then HR knows they got to reach out to those people and say, hey, you didn't watch the video. You know, to be in compliance, you need to watch that video. So there's a myriad of applications how this can help with your workflow. So let me keep going here. So what does the system look like? So it is similar to like a cable TV head end, you know, so we're going to need a rack of equipment that either if we're bringing in raw video, we may need to encode that, you know, videos coming in HDMI or HDSDI format, we're going to need to encode it into IP. We can help you with that. A lot of the satellite players right now, DirecTV and Dish Network, they'll give you an appliance that spits out IP, or they'll give you your cable operator or your satellite provider will give you an appliance that spits out QAM, and essentially QAM is an IP stream that's been RF modulated into a QAM format. If you peel the QAM off, there's an IP stream in there or a digital stream. So you may not need a full-blown encoder. A QAM to IP gateway is not that expensive. So we help you with these processes. You know, maybe it'll save you money to switch from, you know, sorry if anybody's out there from Cox or DirecTV or, you know, from one provider to another. You know, a box that spits out IP may save you money in the long run. So we can help you with these solutions. We have partnerships with the satellite providers. We'll work with your local cable company if that's the route we choose, or mix and match. We can mix and match. You know, like the studio application. They want to bring in DirecTV, Dish Network, Cox, Time Warner. I want to bring them all in. We'll set up a system to do all that. So what's the heart of the system? So let me just jump to this slide. I like this slide better. It's got a pic. It's actually graphical. I think you guys would appreciate that. So here's all your different flavors of feeds coming in. We do some DoD work. You can have your encoders here or your cable set-top boxes here in your head end, and this would sit in a telco rack. So if your feeds are already in IP format, you know, basically the basic IPTV, VidOvation TV starts at a 1RU. It's a server. We can provide you a Dell or an HP if IT has a particular brand. We prefer to provide the whole hardware with the software on it, so we burn it in, we test it. We can install it on your own hardware if that's how you choose to go, but we just can't test and burn it in ahead of time. So 1RU for basic IPTV, and then it layers on top of that. You usually need another 1RU for video on demand. You need another box for streaming the mobile devices. So we can help you plan out how much rack space you need to do all these features. And then there's the network, and you know, most companies or most enterprises are putting it on the LAN, on the wide area network. We could pipe it through satellite. You know, we've done some DoD work through satellite, and we obviously, if we're pushing to someone's smart device, if they're on campus, it may go through Wi-Fi, but if they're off campus, more than likely it's going to go through cellular of some sort. So you know, then there's the middleware. So here's the encoders, the transcoders. Here's the middleware, your recorders, your personal recorders, And then here's the end user. So it could go to a laptop, desktops, TVs with a set-top box, smartphones, and tablets. So that kind of gives you in a nutshell a visual of what's going on. Again, here it is in more detail, the types of networks we've gone over. I won't bore you with too many of the details. We'll give you a full copy of this. We'll give you a full recording with the voiceover and the slides, so we can come back to that. Oh, one thing too, we can tie into billing systems. So if you're a sporting venue, people might want to order food through the IPTV system in their hospitality suite, or if it's a hospital, you might want to order something special, that kind of thing. So we tie into a lot of the hospitality, entertainment type billing systems in the back end. So we give you that ability. Just here's another look at it. Here we show the digital rights management. That's usually another server that sits there. That's encrypting all the video on the network, exchanges the cipher keys with all the players, just to make sure video is not leaving the premises or being copied or bootlegged. We guarantee all that security with the DRM, or the digital rights management. I mentioned the graphical interface. We can customize it. We can do multi-language support. We can add like little local widgets, news and weather, little clips that come up. You can change the background, the color scheme, and it's all cascaded style sheets. If you're a web guy, I'm not a web programming expert, but it's all customizable. If you have web guys, they should be able to help you format that. Or if you just give us your corporate colors and your logos and your branding, we can do it for you. We have people on staff that can help with that. Video on demand, the whole fast forwarding and replay. We don't have the hopper, skip commercial type technology. We'll leave that to Dish Network. But, the usual features, fast forward, rewind, bookmark. You can do all those basic DVR functions. Let me see here. Oh, there we go. Again, I talked about the administrative rights. I won't get into that again. You can organize the channel lineup. So let's just say someone higher up says, "Oh, channel 10 is important. I want that moved up to channel 1." IT can program the whole channel guide, organize the video library into groups, just help to organize the full integration of the video management system with the Active Directory of the enterprise domain. Let's see. So digital channels, we got some interactive, we can do some interactive guides, have some interactive channels. I think you saw on a previous slide we can even pipe in games. Again, I see that more for hospitality. We're not really, in the corporate world, we're not really looking for games, that sort of thing, but you never know. You might have clients out there that are looking for, some entertainment aspects to the system. So yeah, I don't want to be redundant. So I mentioned some of these benefits. I'll keep going. When I'm excited about a technology, Troy's behind me, behind the screen here. He'll give me the hook. Like, "Hey, Jim, these people got to get back to work. Don't go too long." So you can see here. Here's a typical user interface we did for a client. We have a company logo, and it has a similar look and feel to a satellite or a cable TV system. You can see these are things that are scheduled to be recorded. So it's a familiar interface. You get a customized multi-button remote to go with the system. We can customize buttons for your special needs. If you need something customized, some custom feature, we can work it into the remote, that sort of thing. Again, it's scalable too. So we're working with a couple of different customers right now, and we're putting in the basic IPTV. Video on demand may come later. System is fully scalable, so we can start out small, work our way up. You do need the 1RU IPTV basic server, and then we can build up from there, add other features as you move forward. So the administrator has full control of all functions on the network. If someone is misusing the system, you can limit their access, block out their access. So the IT department or the people controlling the system are going to love it. Let me just see here. Yeah, there's a number of different ways to provision set-top boxes. The desktops are easy because it's tied into Active Directory, so a given user's machine is given access to the player and these groups of channels based on their Active Directory access. And Amino, we're going to have to, there's a couple of ways to do it. One is when the set-top, like in a hotel environment, box is plugged in and then the installer actually puts down the room number. So then someone on IT says, oh, a new box has been added, it's in room 301. A hotel environment, everyone has the same access level. In a corporate environment, it's probably easier where before the box is deployed, they jot down the last couple of digits of the MAC address of the device. So someone picks up an Amino, says, I'm going to run this up to conference room A, or he calls on the phone, I'm in conference room A, here's my MAC address. It pops up on the IT guy's screen that Amino with MAC address XYZ has just appeared on the network. What do you want to do with it? What's its access rights? So it just popped up. You're on the phone with your colleague who's upstairs putting it in the room. Okay, conference room goes into the conference level access. It'd probably be similar to the PC that's in that conference room. Or he's putting it in the CEO's office in his little private area. Okay, it's the CEO's office. Okay, he gets all access. So that's kind of the workflow, how this is installed. Remote monitoring. So all kinds of video could be in the corporation. So there could be security cameras, and we could have a multi-viewer with multiple videos on the screen. On my earlier slide, I think I have a slide that coming back, but on this earlier slide, you can see here there's 4 videos on the screen. We can do up to 16 videos on one screen. So from a security standpoint, you could have a multi-view of all your security cameras, or certainly your security director should have access to all those channels, and maybe doesn't want to go down to the security room. He wants to view it from while he's off campus, so he can call that up on his iPad and watch the security cameras from a remote location or anywhere within the organization. So again, the sky's the limit. As long as it's MPEG 2, MPEG 4, we can pipe those security cameras into the system. If transcoding is necessary, say they're JPEG 2000, we can set you up with a transcoder to bring those video feeds into the system. Again, this goes into more the cascading or the customization of the cascade style sheets, programming the screens, the skins of the camera. We'll work closely with your people, your marketing people, to so you have consistent branding across the network. So you can see here that this is a pretty generic version. I mean, we can make much fancier interfaces than this, change the colors, put your logo in there, match your corporate colors. This looks like it was for a hotel. See if I can recognize that. Is that San Diego? It has the little teepees on it, or that might be the San Diego Convention Center, so it's probably a hotel somewhere in San Diego. And you see, look, it's identifying the visitor in the room. So, when you bring up the IPTV system on the desktop, we could say, welcome, Jim Giacchetta. Here's your IPTV channel, so it can acknowledge the viewer, the participant. Big common thing, too, in any organization or especially in universities now, with violence on campus, IT can take control of the system and tune to an emergency channel with an emergency announcement, buildings in lockdown, or evacuate the building, whatever the emergency alert is, can take control of the system and, through a signage or an alert type system, interrupt all programming with an important message, of something, some urgent news, something that's happening in the building. Here's an example. I mean, this is more of an entertainment slide. I didn't have a corporate slide, but you can imagine that, these could very easily be some HR videos, dailies on your network, could be here under your pre-recorded system. Here's some views of some security cameras, so you can see you can have different locations, a hierarchy to your video feeds or your camera feeds. Again, showing that security angle. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't want to be too redundant. Let me just keep going. I know I've been talking 45 minutes. I want to leave time for some questions. So again, it's highly flexible, cost-effective. You can start out small. Other players offer IPTV type systems, but they're very expensive. So we have some a lower cost of ownership. It's not exorbitantly expensive to get in, to buy into this type of system. We're one of the few that can stream to the desktop and the smartphone. That's a key feature of ours. And we can help eliminate that coaxial, ugly legacy distribution. Or let's say you want to keep that. Just say, well, look, our live TV is coming in through coax. It's working fine. We just want to add some video to the desktop, some training videos. We can work alongside of that. We can have your remote switch from the IPTV system to the cable TV system, back and forth seamlessly, so the user doesn't even know as they're flipping through channels. So we can mix and match the old with the new. So we don't have to throw the legacy system completely into the trash. We can gradually transition over, and we're certain once you see the benefits of IPTV, we can switch everything over. So we can mix and match, and we've done that for quite a few clients. Let's see. So again, this is just another view of the system. You can see here's a representation of the customized remote. Let me just keep going. Okay, then again, it's an open architecture. If you need our help with expansion of encoders, if you need low latency encoders for other applications, we have some very robust encoder technology that's on par with some of the big boys out there at half the cost, a third of the cost. So we have some encoders, but our system's open architecture. Some of the other systems, their business model is to keep them closed, so you have to use their brand of encoder, and you have to use their customized set-top box. We're open. We don't take that philosophy. Most of our systems are open architecture, so you can mix and match vendor technology. And along that open architectural line, we're open gear partners. I've personally been an early advocate of the open gear platform, and it serves the customer. So it's a multi-vendor platform. There's dozens of vendors that make cards for it, and you can buy encoders from VidOvation, fiber optic modules, transcoders, converters, embedders, you name it. There's something for every application, and they all fit into the Open Gear platform. And if you find a card from, obviously we'd prefer you bought the VidOvation version of these cards, but that's the beauty of it. It's like a PC. Anyone's graphics card, anyone's card can plug into it. So if there's a certain brand that you like, or mix and match, or if you have an Open Gear frame with some open slots, we can plug in our encoders, and you don't have to buy another frame. We have the highest density in the industry. So in this 2RU chassis, we can get 20 channels of H.264, 20 channels in 2RUs, or 10 channels per 1RU. I think the next closest one is like 20 channels in 3RUs. So we save a third the space. So we have that density. If you only need a handful of channels, or it's more of a portable type application, This box here, the standalone, is actually an open gear card put in a standalone chassis. So that's a cost competitive way to get a standalone. And the cards and the standalone are available in single and dual channel. And a lot of the features are upgradable with firmware. So, in other words, say you're SD right now, so you could buy an SD encoder and upgrade to HD later. Say you're only doing 720p right now. You don't need 1080p. Well, you'll buy the 1080p upgrade when you need it. And our pricing actually our prices seem to go down. Economy of scale, economy of manufacturing, the more we sell. So if you don't buy a lot of these features today, you don't have to worry like, oh, they're going to gouge me later if I don't buy the 1080p option. We'll work with you guys and, help get your IPTV, your VidOvation TV system started. And, obviously we support the unicast and the multicast that's necessary for an IPTV system. And then here's the famous Amino set-top box. It's a cute little device. It comes in several different styles, and it's open architecture. What we do is we reflash the programming of it. It's a great piece of hardware, but the programming per se is basic out of the box. You could customize it and program in your multicast channels and manually assign channel numbers. Very time-consuming. You would never want to do that yourself. So what happens is when the Amino comes onto the network, it grabs an IP address off the LAN, usually through DHCP. You could program in static IPs in these if that's the way you want to go. And once it grabs an IP, it takes 30 seconds to a minute to flash itself. It downloads the latest Amino environment. So if some upgrades were made to the look and color and feel, all you'd have to do is the IT department could send out a signal to tell all the Aminos to reboot themselves, so they'd reflash themselves, or you just power cycle it and it would reflash and update its firmware. So IT can control the Aminos, push updates to them, force them to reset, force them to a given channel. But that's the beauty of it. We've taken a great piece of hardware and we've customized the firmware, sped up the decoding process, minimized the latency to decode video with the Amino. So we've kind of taken a inexpensive piece of hardware and supercharged it and made a very economical IPTV decoder. So guess that's it, folks. So here's my contact information. You guys are welcome to email me anytime. My email, if that's hard to read, it's Jim Giacchetta. It's Jim J, J-I-M-J @vidovation.com. I'm a big fan of LinkedIn. Any of you guys connected to me? We do a lot of updates. There's a lot of good information. Look at our events page for upcoming webinars. If you like this webinar and you want to peel the onion back a little bit deeper into other areas, stay tuned for our webinars on fiber optics, webcasting. We thank you all for taking the time today. You can see I'm on Twitter. If you guys like Facebook, I promise not to show you too many, cats playing the piano pictures on Facebook. It's my business persona. So, unless you want cats playing on pianos, tell me. I can. My kids have 2 rabbits, so maybe we can get the rabbits to play on the piano. Whatever you guys want. So, let me see here. I think there were a few questions. Let me see if they're above my pay grade, I can get back to you. Yeah, somebody said Ping just came in late. Probably had some business to take care of today. To answer his question, there will be a recording. We will be reorganizing our website in the next couple of days. Where it says white paper, it'll say download. Then in there, you'll see subdirectory that says white papers, webinar archives, and PowerPoints or presentations. For now, if you're registered, even if you didn't attend, if you registered for it, you will automatically get an email with my voice, with the slides. My colleague Troy just needs a couple of days to assemble that. So I say, I think last time we got it out to you guys like by Monday or Tuesday. So we want you to share that information. Look on LinkedIn. Sometimes I repost these things on LinkedIn, so it can be more widely shared. So I see here there's a question about, do we do point-to-point contribution over the internet? Absolutely. If you're streaming video through the internet, we all know how flaky the internet is. 10 o'clock in the morning in a residential area at home, it's great. You got all the bandwidth you need. 8 o'clock at night, not so much. Hopefully with a corporate connection, you have some service level agreement, some level of guaranteed quality on your connection. But even in those cases, if you're going across continent, you don't know the route that video is going to take. Packets get out of sequence, they get out of order, latency between packets. So you need an encoder that can handle the latency, 100 milliseconds, a couple hundred milliseconds. You need an encoder that can handle the jitter that's added to those packets as they go through the network. And then packet reordering, packets get out of sequence. And, we all know video, pixel number one's got to come through first, can't come through last. So, it's got to wait, it's got to buffer. So how much buffering, how much packet reordering your system can do. We have systems that have forward error corrections. We're working with a company called Zixi, Z-I-X-I, that offers a flavor of ARQ, automatic re-request of packets that are dropped. We have other vendors that have their own variant of ARQ in combination with FEC. So we have some simple, basic encoders for IPTV. These are designed for a corporate environment, so we don't anticipate packet loss on the enterprise. But if it trickles out to other buildings and goes on a public network, on a level 3 Vivix circuit, things could start getting funky, latencies could start to build. So we would help you with that process. So yeah, not everyone needs a video IPTV or distribution system. They just need to move video from point to point. So hopefully that answers your question. Can we create something? Yeah, so gentleman's asking, can we create some third party, some of our own info channels? And we have some very inexpensive media players. We do have some IPTV signage players that can be integrated into it. I think the simplest approach is like they do in the hotel industry. You make channel 0 the info channel, and it could be a computer streaming out video, so it could be a mixture of PowerPoint and videos. If you need some more elaborate systems, with a text crawl, video crawl, a stock ticker, the sky's the limit. We can bring in a myriad of brands. One thing I should mention too is that VidOvation manufactures its own products, but in 30 years I've accumulated. I have a lot of friends in the industry, and if we can't solve the problem through our integration services, through our consulting services, some manufacturers are like, well, if it doesn't have our name on it, we don't sell it. That's not how we look at it. We want to service you, and even if we don't make any money and we just make a referral, say, hey, you know what, I think this signage player is the better fit for you. The one we have might be a little too expensive. We'll make that referral. We look at the relationship as a long-term relationship. We're not looking to, squeeze your budget today and run away. We want to save you money. We understand that budgets are very tight. There's many ways to implement these types of systems. Yeah, another gentleman asked me, send me information on the university type solutions. I'm not sure if it's the next one in the queue, but look under the events page. There should be one for universities and colleges. I can send you, I'll make note of the questionnaire, and we'll send you a copy of that PowerPoint so you don't have to wait for that presentation. Let me see what other questions we got. Yeah, okay, sorry, I didn't see this. Well, this was a few minutes ago. To my understanding, the GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar, we chose this platform because because it should play on smart devices. Someone's having trouble with an iPad. You know what we'll do? I'll do some tests with my own iPad and smart device to make sure that all works next time. Let me just see. Yeah, some of these questions are pretty high level. I'll get back to these people. Let's see. Yeah, so somebody's asking me, you know, what's the difference between IPTV and over-the-top technology? It's you know, those 3- and 4-letter acronyms. You know, plain old Jane TV. I kind of think of IPTV as being over the top because, you know, you're adding desktop capability. So as far as what VidOvation TV is, I think it is over the top. It's one and the same. I think a lot of us throw the terminology IPTV out there quite loosely. So people will say, well, I want to set up a system like Netflix. Yes, we have the technology to do that, but our main focus is distributing video on the network. Netflix doesn't use our encoders. We've met with some of the Netflix people. We hope to help them out in their future expansions, but that's a different type of system. I would call that more of a webcasting system, and which is what we do. You need a content distribution network. I suspect Netflix has either built their own CDN, content distribution network, that is, or they've partnered with one of the bigger players. You know, we've worked with Akamai, Ustream, Livestream, Edgecast. You know, you just bringing the network. I think Edgecast kind of really describes what a CDN does. It's bringing you to the edge of the network. It's bringing the network close to you. So I think Edgecast is a good descriptive name. The hardest thing in any kind of networking is the first mile and the last mile. So you know, we can get high bandwidth video to the local telco POP, the local telephone company central office. There's no problem. There's connections there all day long. Level 3, Vivix, the phone company themselves will have connections. It's getting it that last couple of miles to the home. You know, if you're a cable operator, through your ARA, your fiber optic hybrid distribution coaxial plant. If you're Verizon with Fios, you know, the big expense is running the fiber the last mile to those millions of homes. The backbone, the infrastructure is probably already there. Verizon already had it, or they had to add to it. But they have access to those conduits. You know, bringing a fiber to everyone's home, that's the expensive part. So you know, we can help you pick technologies for the different types of applications. Not everyone's going to need an IPTV system as I described it today. But whatever your needs are in moving video back and forth from point A to point B, whether it's one-to-one, one-to-many, on a private network, on a corporate enterprise, through the internet like a Netflix, we can help you with all that. Common trend right now is rebroadcasting of foreign content. So expats from India, from the UK, from South Africa. They want their news from their home country. They want it in their native tongue. They want their sports. And small television networks have sprung up where they aggregate all this different video. They bring it over here into the United States, many times through the public internet because budgets are tight. And then they redistribute those. They aggregate, add local commercials, local programming, and then they distribute it through the internet, through satellite, through telco, to all the cable operators, DirecTV and the likes, head ends for redistribution. So video is expanding. People want more foreign content. We're doing some work in Russia right now. Russia has purchased some goal cameras, and we're in discussions of, you know, bringing Russian hockey to the U.S. For those Russian expats that want to see their home team back home. You know, they see the Russian players here in the U.S., but they want to see the home team back in Moscow, back in Russia, or wherever they might be from. So so I think that'll wrap it up. Some of these other questions I can answer offline. Let me see here. Yeah, well, to read further too, it said, in a playing video in a third-party player. Our desktop player is basically based on VLC. So how it works is you log into a web portal, and you either go to a predetermined IP address. IT can put a link on everyone's desktop. They click it. It goes to that website. The player loads. The playlist loads. It's usually a customized page in that, you want the electronic program guide. You want the video on demand or the recorded video guide. A client was asking me the other day, can I just go into a native desktop VLC player? I'm sure we can make those customizations. So if you have something unique for your industry, for your application, the video player, you can minimize it so you don't fill the whole screen with the electronic program guide. So you find the channel you want, you can minimize it, put it off in the corner, so you can work on something else while you're listening or watching your content. So pretty much, open architecture. We're using the open source VLC player. The sky's the limit. We can customize things for you. Our professional services groups can help either directly from VidOvation or through some of our partners. We can help you. So I guess that's it. Unless you guys have any other questions, I'd like to thank you for giving us a little over an hour of your time. It's greatly appreciated. I really enjoyed doing this. I hope you like seeing my face. I always wonder what the person looks like when I see some of the webinars. So if you have any questions or if you see me out and about, I'm always available to do on-site demos. If you guys have an application, I can demo this technology in person for you at your organization and show you some of these cool features. And keep in touch. If you can't reach me, if you call into our switchboard and you press 1 for the sales department or extension 1002, you can reach our sales manager, Gerald Hayashi. His email is geraldh@vidovation.com, or you can just type in sales@vidovation.com if you want an immediate quote on something. We always appreciate referrals. If this is something you think some colleagues of yours might like, or someone else in your org or different departments, we're always welcome to that. We're very appreciative of that. We've worked with a lot of different clients, so we hope to work with you guys at some point in the future.